So we will just look at the session heading, that is about critical perspectives in accounting. Of course, I tried to deliver the lecture at 5:30. I was waiting up to 5:45, and I decided to have it, 9 o'clock. And because of one reason, power failure. Anyway, I just wanted to pass 2-3 messages to you all. But the thing is that we don't mind whether you participate our lecture series or not. But remember, once examination results issued, don't come after us asking, I got ESA, can you help us, me, and those kind of, don't bring those matters to me in case, because that is when student making a is making a such a request, so we can't tolerate those things. We feel very sorry, and so thereby I hope that whatever the results you got, you can make a complaint to the faculty. It's not a problem, so we can recheck it, and the process, there is no problem such a complaint. You have that right, but we can't make given pass whatever the results just after the results being issued. Okay, today we are discussing of course critical perspective of accounting. This is subject is, when you look at our subject itself, really you see advanced accounting theory. You have to remember, in accounting there are no accounting theories. We have accounting techniques, apparatus, technologies. We have such things. So financial statement, balance scorecard, budgeting, ABC, activity-based costing, zero-based budgeting, participatory budgeting, accounting standards. You have to remember, all these are not theories. So thereby, this subject, so for me, name of the subject also questionable. That's how we look at the critical, that is the critical perspective of accounting. You see, so this particular title or the topic, I have much more freedom to talk freely, criticize whatever so far we discuss. That is the criticality or critical perspectives. So thereby, when you say the subject accounting theory, advanced accounting theory, there are no theories in accounting. But there are theories we use in accounting research. I think you are familiar with the stakeholder theory, maybe contingency theory. Those theories are not accounting theories, but the theories which we use to carry out our accounting research. Maybe stakeholder theory is little bit, outdated and narrow, which is narrow. Contingency theory, again, not enough to study the accounting from a helicopter perspective view. That is true. Anyway, what I want to communicate to you is that there are no accounting theories. Okay. Coming back to learning outcomes of the today's sessions, we look at the identify particular perspective that challenge conventional opinions about the role of accounting within the society. We raise the fundamental question what is the role of accounting within the society, within our society? Is it to provide information? We know that we learn accounting is to provide information for decision making. Is it? Or is it more than that? Does accounting is having any power? It provides a source of power to people. Do accountants use accounting techniques to control people? So we have such questions. So thereby, here we raise the role of accounting within society. That is one thing. We look at the accounting from different perspectives, not one perspective. But when you look at the decision-making perspective, we just look at the accounting in a narrow way. We just focus on the output. The fundamental question is, are those outputs being used? For what purpose? That is the reason. That is the question we are raising here. Then the second one is describe the basis of arguments that suggests that financial accounting tends to support the position of individuals who hold power, wealth, and social states while undermining the position of others. Now, here's the second argument is accounting or the financial accounting does not support the less privileged people or powerless people. Financial accounting supports with powerful people, individuals who hold power, wealth, social status. Individuals who are having different capital, maybe economic capital, maybe cultural capital, maybe social capital. Those who are having those kind of different capital will get the benefit of accounting. If you think about the annual reports, who get the benefits? Who uses the annual reports? What is the purpose of preparing financial state? Is it to make decision or for something else? So when you see that powerful people will get the hold and they will get the more chances, more opportunities, and they will spread their power and they will accumulate wealth, accumulation wealth, exploitation of labor through accounting. That is the second point we are discussing in this particular learning session. The third one is assess the facts that disclosures of information can be constructed to be an important strategy to promote and legitimize particular social order and maintain the power and wealth elites. So when you look at the accounting, the disclosed information can be constructed to be an important strategy to promote and legitimize. By disclosing matters, we are trying to ensure the legitimacy in the sense survival. For example, when there are issues, environmental issues in the country, when there are issues in the world, global warming, when there are biodiversity issues in the country, so people tend to report environmental report. That part is coming as part of the annual report, part of the financial statements, or you may call it as integrated report. So by having such disclosure, by incorporating integrated reporting, by incorporating social CSR projects, by incorporating environmental accounting into the reporting mechanism, just trying to ensure the legitimacy. We do not make any harm to the environment. Look here our annual reports. But in fact, if you question the actual what we are doing, I think you can realize there's a big difference between what is being reported in annual reports and what is being practiced. Classic example is the water issue in the Kalani area. A particular company, a well-established company, released their really wastage to the Kalani River. And in that area, can you remember the water, the groundwater, polluted? But if you look at the annual reports, that is not the case. But by reporting, by disclosing, they just try to say that, no, we do this way, these are the things we do. And that means when there is such issue in the country, threat to the company, by making disclosure, they just try to comply with the society requirement. So they just to ensure the legitimize particular social orders. When there are when people accept that, okay, environmental, when you are making harm, any harm to the environment, it's not good, that is the social order. By disclosing this fact, so you see. But you see now, by looking at just annual reports, if you perform your research, if you carry out your research, you see that you insert all the garbage. You just believe annual reports, even though the reality is totally different. There may be multiple realities in the ground level. We are not touching that. So our learning outcomes. So at the end of this particular session, you should be in a position to look at the accounting, not in a narrow perspective, but in a broader perspective. That is, so we fundamentally question what is the role of accounting within society. And we believe that there is a tendency of supporting accounting for powerful people and ignoring the powerless people, and assess the fact that disclosure of information can be constructed just to ensure the legitimacy. Okay. So therefore, we have session outlines. We have the critical perspective of accounting, definition of origins, philosophical basis of critical accounting research, critical perspective of accounting and social disclosure, role of states, accounting research, and the accounting practice supporting existing social structures. That is our lesson outline. Okay, we will just look at the critical perspective of accounting, an alternative perspective on the role of accounting. So we are just looking at accounting from different angle. We are not looking at the accounting, it provides information. We don't see that accounting will help to improve the efficiency. Accounting will contribute to decision making. That is a kind of discourse in the society. That is a kind of shared values among the people. That is general, taken for granted. No one is questioning that. Up to this point, we teach you accounting provides information for decision making, but no one raised the question how it can happen. Whether there is other application for accounting, whether there are alternative ways of using accounting. We didn't raise that question. But in this chapter, we are just critically, we are looking at the accounting from different angle, different perspective. That is what accounting is. That is what a accounting undergraduate should be aware. Okay. In broad terms, approach that goes beyond questioning whether particular methods of accounting should be employed. So by just applying balanced scorecard, can you improve the efficiency? Just preparing budgets, can you improve the efficiency? Can you ensure that planning taking place? Can you ensure that people are motivated? Now, if that is the case, if you look at the Sri Lankan government, 74 years after independence, they have produced budget speeches and budget statements. They have prepared the budgets and discussed in the parliament, and each and every budget really presented to public and professional institutes, especially the CS Sri Lanka, and talk about here, budget is very good, budget has this and that. Now what happened? You see, so thereby you can understand, even though budgeting or the budget is a accounting document, but it serves different purposes. It is not the it's not real budgeting. Budget document does not allocate resources in a equitable manner. Powerful people will get more resources and powerless general public will get less resources. So thereby inequalities there in the society. So if you look at the research, so are you focusing on such a research? Are you focusing just on corporate governance will lead to performance, thereby, there is a positive relationship? What is the purpose of? What is the contribution of such research? But you have to raise the question, what is the practice of corporate governance there? Are they practicing what they are telling? Is there a difference of corporate governance practices? Why they practice indifferently? What is the purpose and how they implement this governance practice? So in accounting, we need to raise that question. Just looking at, this and that, when you put data set in one column, in the other column, of statistically, you get the relationship or negative relationship or no relationship. When you put the X column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when you put the Y column, other data, 1, 2, 3. So when you run a statistical package, so you will get some results. Package doesn't know the meaning of this data. Package doesn't know the context of the data you have extracted. So thereby, you see, we need to raise the fundamental question, whether these particular discourses, what we discuss in accounting, techniques such as whatever the techniques what we discuss, really, do we require such techniques? Without that, can we do? What happened? Right. Focus on the role of accounting in sustaining the privileged portion of those who control of resources while undermining, restraining, yes, the voice of those without capital. So thereby, when you look at the definition of a critical perspective, we look at the accounting, we raise the fundamental question of alternative roles. We look at the accounting from broader context, different perspectives, broader terms. We raise the question, does the budgeting serve the expected really objective or the purpose? What is the purpose of having standard costing? What is the purpose of preparing and presenting financial statement? Is it the purpose what we really discuss in the accounting standard or something else? So through accounting, are we going to use our power? Are we going to control and discipline the people in such a way that we want them to behave? Like people in a zoo. Now in the zoo, if you go to the Sattuvatta, you see that the animals are really controlled. So likewise, whether the accounting controls us and discipline us and ensure the legitimacy. So those are the kind of question that we are asking the accounting. So here the third point is that believe that accounting serves for the powerful people and it doesn't serve for the powerful people, powerless people. Now, if you look at the annual reports, so how many people can read the minor shareholders? Can they read these annual reports, which is in English version? Can they understand this is? Can they understand this complex accounting treatment, fair value accounting, capital gain, Vistir, comprehensive income statement? Can they understand? Do they read those financial statements? Do they use those financial statements? If you look at the previous, very recent share market performance, last 2-3 years, you see that without any economic reasons, share prices are going up and down. When I think Minister Namal became a minister, share prices are going up. I don't know why. So you see that, so thereby these financial statements serve not for the general public interest, but serve for the limited, powerful people who really having, much more resources. That is the definition of, that is the way we are looking at the, it's not definition, that is the perspective of accounting. We are questioning, are there any alternative way of looking at accounting? So do these particular accounting techniques serve the purpose that is being expected? And does the accounting is really supporting powerless people or not? Okay. Shall we go to the next one? Critical perspective of accounting definition, continue. All forms of social parasites that are evaluate and aims to engender progressively change within conceptual, institutional, practical, and political territories of accounting. So thereby, it's kind of, all forms of social parasites that are evaluative and aims to engender progressively change within the conceptual, institutional, and practical and political territories of account. So thereby, accounting is really, it's a kind of formal, parasites. Seek to highlight through critical analysis the key role of accounting in society. So seek to highlight through critical analysis key roles in accounting in society. So we question the conceptual, institutional, practical, political territories of accounting. If there is a balance scorecard practice, we ask why. Why balance scorecard? Why do it? When you adopt certain kind of activity-based costing or management accounting practices, we look at from different perspective. We look at it from political territories of accounting. So challenges the view of accounting can be constructed as objective and neutral. What is objective and neutral? Can be constructed as objective and neutral. If you take the budgeting, how do you learn budgeting? You learn budgeting is a planning tool, motivational tool, controlling tool, etc. So when you put the budget, when you prepare the budget, everything will be okay. Easy. That is the objective and neutral nature. Remember, budget is being designed and implemented in a political, social, economic context. You are not just planting a budget. You just design the budget in a particular context. It's not like, when there is a mango tree, one mango falling down. It's not the case. When you put a Panadol, the particular medicine into a particular water, so it dissolves. It's not like it's not like the accounting philosophy, accounting techniques are not like the objective forms and natural forms. We challenge it. We challenge it. That is the idea. We look at the alternative ways, alternative perspective of accounting techniques. Accounting is seen as a means of constructing or legitimizing particular social structures for the benefit of those that currently have wealth. So there are different social structures. Since you are familiar with the audit firm, There is a particular structure, institutional practices in respective audit firms. With regard to the training requirement, there is a particular social structure. You have the training agreement, the number of hours, areas to be covered, supervision. You see, the attendance, maintaining the whatever the training records, and put in the supervisor's signature. You see that whatever the task you do, irrespective of the task, whatever the things you wrote in recording books, supervisor will sign. So you will look at the guidelines. According to the prescribed guidelines, you maintain your recording. Even though you didn't do some tax practices, you enter some tax practices by looking at someone else, record books, just to comply with the requirement. That is the social structure. So what we are trying to do is, when you look at the traditional way of accounting, we try to maintain social structures. We don't challenge the social structure. If you challenge the social structure, you will be out from the system. No training for you. Training is suspended for 5 years. Training is suspended for 2 months. And training will be extended by another 5 months just because of that reasons. So thereby, you are trying to, maintain the social structures. So whether we like or not, in this, if you look at the country's education, if you look at the accounting education, if you look at the professional accounting education, we tend to maintain this social structure. We are part of this particular corrupted society. The accounting people, accounting professionals are responsible for this disaster because they didn't really look at it from a different perspective, alternative perspective. They didn't challenge the social structures. They just supported. අපි කියන්නේ වැල යන අතට මැස්ස ගහනවායි කියලා. වතු ගඟේ වතුර යන පැත්තට අපිත් යනවා. උඩහට පීනන්නේ නැහැ. If you do it, very difficult to survive. There are people, right? That is the challenge, critical perspective. Okay, critical perspective accounting origin, grounded in political economic theory. So political economic theory means in the sense of you look at the economic matters from the political perspective, and classical branch of political economic theory, and challenge the existing nature of structure of society. So for example, companies failures, classic example is Golden Key. We raise the question why that happened. How Golden Key really collapsed? What was the reasons? Were there any corporate governance, what we describe as best practices? Did they prepare financial statements? Did they publish financial annual reports? I think answer is yes. They had the corporate governance. Yeah, I think someone has done studies. They said that corporate governance and the performance are, there is a positive relationship in Golden Key based on annual reports. All this really, stories are there, but reality is different. So thereby what is essential is to look at from different perspective. In certain cases, for example, you put the, you can raise a different question about challenges. Really, we don't know how a chartered accountant is being produced. We don't know becoming an accountant. What challenges, what mechanism, what the process he really undergo to become a chartered accountant. That has to be really a research. You may say that, okay, he has to pass the exam, training requirement, this and that. That is the appearance. story, but inside that there will be a different story. So have we studied that? No. So that is what we need to challenge, the nature and structure of society. We don't accept critical perspective of accounting, really challenge the existing status quo. Taken for granted knowledge is not accepted. අපි අනුන් කියන ඒවා අපිට සමාජයෙන් දීලා තියෙන common sense what we don't accept. We raise why? What happened? How it happened? So that is the things. Now most of the people are talking about the corporate governance, accountability and all that in corporate sector, but no one is talking about the accountability towards the blind. අන්ධ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ සමාජයට අපේ තියෙන වගකීම්, society එකේ, රජයේ, corporate sector එකේ, what is the responsibility? What is the accountability they have? So there is accounting. So you think that accounting is numbers. That is not the case of critical perspective. We go beyond numbers. We don't believe accounting is numbers. Accounting is calculative practice. No, it's beyond that. It's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool to dominate the society, to exploitation of labor and all that will taken place in terms of this particular discourse accounting. Political economic theory. Political economic is the social, political, and economic frame within which human life taken place. We believe that our behavior, our interactions, our life is not in a vacuum. It's in the society. So thereby my life and the political and economical and other social cultural factors cannot be separated. Those two are going together, interact. So thereby human life really, so it depends on as individual how you perceive social and political economic setup in the particular context. How you perceive. So you assign different meanings to political, social, economic setup, environment in the country. That means social, we are constructing and reproducing the social world and social norms. That is the idea. Corporate reports are not considered neutral and unbiased. So if you say corporate reports, annual reports are neutral, not biased, it's a utter blame, utter lie. All the reports are biased. All reports, when you prepare reports, there's a political purpose. There's a reasons. There is a social reasons. There may be economic reasons in which in that context you prepare the corporate reports, but a product of interchange between the corporation and its environment. Classical political economic theory further, related to the works of philosophers such as Karl Marx, exploitation of labor, and also Foucauldian approach, bourgeois approach. So there are a lot of, critical perspective theories. In fact, the Foucault talk about different kind of capital, cultural capital, social capital, economic capital. So those kind of things he talks about the power and the knowledge. He is talking, Foucault talk about the power is everywhere. Power is everywhere. If you go to a school, just look at how school being constructed. The design itself a source of power. පන්ති කාමර තියෙන හැටි බලන්න. ඒවා ඔක්කොටම ඒ corridors තියෙන හැටි බලන්න. ඒ තියෙන්නේ that's kind of apparatus. Principle is there, of course, to control. Rules and regulations are there. Written documents are there to discipline the people. So that is called the power sources of different power sources. Consider class, interest, structural conflicts, and inequality, the role of the states. So classical political economic theory considers the class interest. Different class will have different interest. There are structural conflicts. So in certain cases, certain structure may conflict with some other structure. For example, in universities, a particular one department may have a conflict with some other department just to get their market share. Structural conflicts are there. Inequality, just because of structural conflicts, class of interest, you get inequality. You see that when you come by train from, just look at the Moratu area, Galkissa, the seaside, how they live. Even if you go to this Peta, you find out different company media and all this, you see that people, how people live. Inequality. Their houses and the facilities, the medicine facilities, health issues, all these are not really, inequality. And you know that when you go to a city, when you talk to people in the city, especially the businessmen, shop owners, what they are telling? They are telling, sir, you know that the people are waiting. I can hinganno. Me minissu hinganno, they are waiting until we close the shops. That much of people are there in each and every city. If you look at the color lights, if you observe all 4 junctions, හතර පැත්තටම හිඟන්නෝ ඉන්න. 4 දෙනෙක් අවමේ ඉන්න පුළුවන්, ඊට වැඩි ඉන්න පුළුවන්. හැම junction එක inequality. You have a good accounting system, accountability system. Can you have such a thing? So that is what we praise in the question. The inequality, the role of the state. What is the role of the state? Whether the role of the state is to really, safeguard the majority interest or minority interest who are having power. If you look at the accountability, public sector accountability, it's not towards the majority. Now, you see that recently, if you look at the COPE committee, the discussions, so you find a lot of accountability issues. And the big people, the CEOs, chairmen, they are making such statements, and next day morning they are coming and telling, "Oh, very sorry, it's not the things which I made." Something like that. If there is a legal system, if there is accountability, if there are real accountability store is there, those people are not in the home. They are now in jail. So thereby, the role of the state is questionable. We have to question. So thereby, public sector accounting, public sector accountability, public sector financial management, transparency are key issues in the society. Are we involved in research on those areas? Or are we focused on very narrow focus research topic? And this structure, corporate governance structure, have a performance impact on performance. There is a positive relationship between this and that, and there are multiple or the different views. Some are telling positive correlation, some are telling negative correlation. What is the purpose? That is called the traditional way of looking at accounting. Accounting as numbers, but accounting for you need to read little bit, publish case studies to understand this. Anyway, accounting reports and disclosures means of maintaining the favored positions of those controls scarce resources as means of undermining the position of those without scarce. That is the means of maintaining a favored positions. So accounting reports and disclosures are just for the wealthy people, powerful people, those who control scarce resources. And accounting is for wealthy people and those who control the resources. Management accounting, providing information for managers. They are controlling the resources. But no one is asking what happened, what is the accountability towards the society. When you take Sri Lankan Water Board, what is the accountability towards the society? Sri Lanka Petroleum, IOC, is a public sector organization, private sector organization. What is the responsibility, accountability towards these people, those who are in queue? No one is talking. You see, so thereby, if you look at the accounting just as a figure, reports, sales figure is so much, cost of sale is so much, gross profit is so much, net profit is so much, net asset so much, total asset so much, non-current assets so much. What is the purpose? What is the purpose if those discipline, discourse, if not served to the people in the country? Focus on the structural conflict within the society. So there are structural conflicts within the society. You see, if you have a legal system, if you take the legal system, the powerful people and powerless people will get different responses. If you go to an organization to things to work get done, you should have one person known to you. If you don't know, that is common in public and private sector, both organizations. When you enter into an organization, you search a person known to you. Why? You see, you know that if someone you know, you can get the things done very quickly and come out. Otherwise, no. But when a powerful guy went, a minister, a CEO of a particular company, real chairman of an organization, a powerful people, where if a policeman, OIC, if went to an organization, you see, you will get the things very quickly. But if an innocent, if you go to a bank, really, if you put a tie and this thing, the bank manager will welcome you. Suppose you are an entrepreneur with a new idea and you are going as a new, as a person, as a normal person to the bank manager will say, go out, no loan for you. Structural conflicts within society are there. Same structure will serve for separate, for a different segment of people differently, for another set of people differently. But it's not the case. When you say institutional practices, institutions, all institutions and practices on behalf of people. That is bureaucracy. That is bureaucracy. Okay. Then philosophical basis of critical accounting research. Philosophical basis of accounting research. Branches of critical accounting. We have radical feminist perspective, deep ecologist philosophy, and Marxist informed critique of capitalism, labor exploitation. So radical feministic perspective believes that accounting maintains and reinforces the masculine traits such as ongoing quest for success, conflict, and so forth without any consideration to cooperation, respect, loyalty, caring, and so forth. That is radical feminist. Deep ecological perspective question the trade-off between economic performance and ecological damage, cost, benefit, costs incurred to ecosystem biodiversity, biodiversity reporting, forest වලට මොකද වෙන්නේ, environment එකට මොකද වෙන්නේ, ඒක balance කරන්නේ කොහොමද ආර්ථික කාරණාත් එක්ක. If you are a manufacturing organization, how we really make an impact to the environment. නේද? එතකොට අපි environment එකට friendly වෙන්න අපේ economic performance අඩු වෙනවා. environment එකට harm කරන්න අපේ economic performance වැඩි වෙනවා. නේද? So that is something about, you know, biodiversity reporting and economic performance. The another thing is, you may talk about the labor exploitation, how people control by using different accounting techniques. Maybe balance scorecard, maybe what do you call standard cost sheet. By using the standard cost sheets, you can discipline, you can control, you can punish the people. So you are giving the targets. If targets are not achieving, you know, this something like that. So labor exploitation is really using the labor, you know, just, you know, treating the labor unethically, underpayments, not good salaries, not benefits. You just get them work done, but just not, you are not providing facilities for them. You control. You have authoritarian control just to accumulate the wealth by exploiting the labor. I think most of the top people, I heard that if you look at the banking system in the country, one told me, I don't know whether it's true or false, 2,000 trainees are there in the banking system, commercial banks. And all the banks, commercial banking system is operated by using these trainees. You see, can you imagine the cost with regard to the trainees cost and the income and cash flows to the bank? Very less, you know, permanent employees. Views of social responsibility information. Critical theorists argue that discourse of social responsibility information is wasted unless accompanied by fundamental changes in how society is structured. So critical theory says that you may have the environmental friendly or the social responsibility information, social responsibility projects, environmental accounting. That is true. You can record, you can report, you can disclose. But what is the ultimate outcome of those reporting? Were we able to change the social structure? Whether the social structure is same, මීට අවුරුදු 5කට කලින් තිබ්බ ක්‍රමයේ දැනුත් තියෙන්නේ. තාම පරිසර දූෂණය වෙනවද? වනාන්තර ඝනත්වය අඩු වෙනවද? පරිසර දූෂණය අඩු වෙන්නේ මොන ශේෂ්ත්‍රවලින්ද? ඒ විදිහටම තියෙන data. If that is the case, what is the purpose of having corporate social responsibility reporting? තාම දුගියෝ ඉන්නවද? දුගියෝ අඩු වෙලාද? දුගියෝ වැඩි වෙලාද? Inequality වැඩි වෙලාද? අඩු වෙලාද? So I saw that very recently, World Bank is distributing 10 kilos of rice for poor people. World Bank funded project. Can you imagine the situation of the country? How much, how many people are there? People are there. It's really, they are just too difficult for them to, you know, get their basic needs satisfied. So it's a question. Acts to legitimize, not challenge those providing the information. So by providing just information, as when there is a threat of threats from the social order for their survival with regard to environmental issues, what they do is, best thing is, they declare, we do this much of social responsibility projects. We do this and that. I know that CS Sri Lanka also doing social responsibility projects and asking members to give money. I don't know why. They are getting the collection and do the social responsibility. Is that the social responsibility? Is that their social responsibility? Are they talking about social issues, countries issues, economic issues? No, they are not talking about. They said that country is doing well. Budget is there. A very good budget for this year. And it's fantastic for the SME sector. You see how professionals' knowledge really contribute to continue this system. Okay. Acts to legitimize, not challenge those providing information, need social reforms and not more counting. We need social reforms, not more counting. Not more counting means you may have different standards, different way of presenting, integrated reporting, ERP system, accounting packages, more counting. You see, we are in a IT era with more technologies. But what has happened to the people in this country, in this world, developing countries? So thereby, we need social reforms, change, fundamental change in this system. Without that, accounting is just a minor matter. We don't need more counting. We need social reforms. රටේ ඉන්න අන්ධ මිනිස්සු ගාන කීයද? අන්ධ මිනිස්සුන්ට කොහොමද අපි සලකන්නේ? මොකද්ද accountability එක? ගොළුන්ට කොහොමද අපි සලකන්නේ? The වැඩිහිටියන්ට. Now if you study, observe, I don't know. So one thing is, when you do research, no need to do high level research. You observe. When you go to organization, you just study the security people. වයස කීයද? කැම්පස් එකේ අය ගණන් කරලා බලන්න වයස 60ට වැඩි සිකියුරිටි නිසා කොච්චර ඉන්නවද කියලා. මම මේ කියන්නේ අපේ පර්මනන්ට් සිකියුරිටි එක නෙවෙයි, පොලිටිෂියන් ලයින් ඇතුළේ වෙච්ච සිකියුරිටි නෙවෙයි, යුනිෆෝම් ඇඳලා ඉන්නේ අර ඒ අය නෙවෙයි. අර අවුට්සෝස් සිකියුරිටිස් ලාගේ බලන්න වයස කීයද කියලා. If you go to an organization, you go to the inland revenue and you go to some other organization and just look at the security people and just look at the cleaners. ඒ ඔක්කොම අවුරුදු 55ට වැඩි අය. ඒතර ඒගොල්ල elderly people. We don't have a system to look after them once we get older. That is a problem for me. Even no, it's not my problem, it's not the security, but I'm talking that segment. I think each and every person in this country, in this world, human being, you get older. So there should be a social security system to look after that. What is the accountability towards that? What is our accountability? That is accounting. Are we talking about that? Are we doing any research on that? Can you do a research on this security people and the accountability of towards them? No one is interested in doing that. Because you need one annual reports and you collect annual report, look at the annual report, this is that and that, good and good. So is that the role of undergraduate? I don't think. Rajuru Helwena, you have to say that is you are without cloth. Even for Rajuru, that's our ability. That is the critical perspective of that is being an independent person, and you can have a critical view always. Anyway, act to legitimize, not challenge those providing the information. Need social reform, I explain it, and the role of the state in supporting existing social structure. Role of the state in supporting the existing. When you look at the role of the state, it support the existing structure. Then Ranil Mahathir ඇවිල්ලා මොකද කරේ? Then the present government එක මොකද්ද කිව්වේ මේ structure මේ polling ක්‍රමය මේකම support කරනවා. ණය ගන්න එක, IMF එකත් එක්ක කතා කරන එක. No change. නේද? ගොවියෝ ටික ගෙන්නලා කතා කරලා මේක වගා කරන්න ඕන මෙහෙමයි plan එක. No such change. System is going. He believes in market. Efficiency high market. නේද? හැම එකම වෙළඳ පොලෙන් තමයි උත්තර දෙන්නේ. So that's the question. The state is seen as a vehicle to support for holders of capital and for capitalist system as a whole. මේ ක්‍රමයේ තියෙන කාරණේ තමයි holders of capital and for capital system තමයි state එක support කරන්නේ. එතකොට මේ තියෙන ක්‍රමය කවදාකවත් not for us, not for you all. Those who have the capital accumulation. Capital accumulation is not only the economic capital. Remember, සල්ලි විතරක් නෙමෙයි. Cultural capital, ධනය, බලය, cultural capital and social capital networks. Dhammika Pereira is a classic example for he's having network social capital. He's having cultural capital. He's having economic capital. So people are there to support that kind of people. You see, not for general people. So when such people really coming to the top level or the managerial level or management level or director boards, so they take decision so as to protect their class, not the general public. That is the meaning of state is seen as a vehicle of support for holders of capital and for the capitalist system as a whole. The critical researchers looking at that from that perspective. A government take action to enhance the legitimacy of the social system. මේ පවතින ක්‍රමය justify කරන්න, legitimacy කරන්න, මිනිස්සුන්ගේ පිළිගැනීම ගන්න. ඒක නිසා තමයි කිව්වේ රනිල් අහම් පෝලින් නැති වෙන. Legitimize. You see? Restricting the flow of information, availability for specific type of information seen as means of maintaining particular organized social structures. So you may talk about, you may use statistics to really maintain the social structure. You may talk about the growth rate, economic growth rate, GDP, inflation rate, interest rate, tax rate, tax income, macro level statistics you may use. එනිසා තමයි කියන්නේ අපි මේ ඔබට මතකයි සමහර කාර්යවල ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා අපි ඍණ ආර්ථිකය ධන ආර්ථිකයක් කරා. They are talking about statistics just to really maintain the social structure. එතකොට හොඳයි නේ දැන් ඍණ ආර්ථිකය ධන ආර්ථිකයක් කරා නම් අපි බලන් ඉන්නවා right මේක කන්ටිනියු මේක හොඳයි කියලා. You see, all the statistics, central bank statistics being used to maintain social structure. We are not challenging those statistics. We need human resource. We need intellectual to challenge those statistics, to challenge those policies, to question those policies rather than accepting. I going for IMF. What do you think? People say, no, Karan, that means you are maintaining the social structure. If you look at the going for IMF in a critical way, it's a plus point. So then only creativity is coming. Right. Government does not operate in the public interest, but in the interest well-off group in contrast to public interest theory. I think I highlighted that matter. Finally, that is the state role. So thereby, when you do the research, when you really do a public sector accounting research, you may raise that question. How you disperse, how you really perform the accountability role. something like that. The role of accounting research in supporting existing social. The role of accounting research. When you look at the mainstream means those who are having hypotheses and those who are using statistical data. Those who believe that reality is out there, you can capture it. The world is, reality is objective. There is only one reality. We can capture it by delivering a questionnaire. We can analyze that situation by using a statistical data. That is mainstream. Those mainstream researchers are really supporting the social structures. Balance the corporate governance. I know, very popular topic among undergraduates in their research. Corporate governance, board size and performance, dividend and performance, something like that. All this research, all this academic work, just supporting this corrupted world, the existing social structure. We are not questioning the social structure. We don't ask the question whether the governance practice or the management control described in annual reports or textbooks, whether they are being practiced or something else. Why, if there is a difference? We don't raise that question. I know that one time may be the time because you all are internship and no time to do, time to read, no time to talk, no time to enjoy your life. I know that, what to do. Anyway, anti-regulation stance, efficiency market hypothesis. EMH means efficiency market hypothesis. Api hitana late 1970 and 19 matched the views of government at the time. මේ කාලේ විශේෂයෙන් මාග්‍රට් ටැචර් UK වල efficiency market hypothesis වලින් සියලුම ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ market based mechanism, neoliberalism method is the answer for the all questions. සමාජයේ තියෙන සියලුම ප්‍රශ්න වලට මෙන්න මේ නව ලිබරල් වාදී විවෘත වෙළඳපොළ නැත්නම් වෙළඳපොළ අභිමුඛ වලින් උත්තර සපයන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක තමයි අපි කියන්නේ. එතකොට තමයි අර discourses එන්නේ, corporate governance, annual reports, corporate reporting, integrated reporting, balanced scorecard. All these are, you know, and also in a way they are challenging the bureaucracy. ඒකල කියනවා රාජ්‍ය සේවය හොඳ නැහැ, ඒ bureaucracy තියෙන්නේ, ඒවා bottlenecks තියෙනවා, ඒවා අයින් කරන්න ඕන, ඒවා නිසා මේ කරන්න බෑ, ඒ නිසා private sector practices මේකට ගේන්න ඕන, සේවකයා පත් කිරීමේදී තම අභිමතය පරිදි පත් කරන්න ඕන, motivation කිරීමේදී උසස් වීම දීමේදී අභිමතය පරිදි පත් කරන්න ඕන, salary decide කිරීමේදී අභිමතය පරිදි පත් කරන්න ඕන කියලා 아무තු කතාවක් කියන private sector. Now what happened? President has appointed chairmans for almost all the SOEs, state-owned enterprises, petroleum, water board, electricity, you know, consumer affairs, whatever the things, you name whatever the things, president is appointing his Golia. What happened? No qualification, no framework for selection, no criteria for selection, no criteria for deciding salaries. Can you do such a thing? Bureaucracy is much more systematic, formal. We need bureaucracy to have a democratic society. Democracy again, democracy society එකට ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය කියලා කියන්නේ ඡන්දේ විතරක් නෙමෙයි. ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය කියලා කියන්නේ සියලුම ආයතනවල විනිවිද භාවයක් තියීමෙන් ඒක කරගෙන යනවා. ඒක private sector ද public sector ද අදාළ නැහැ. ඒකට සේවකයන් තෝරා ගැනීමේදී විනිවිද භාවයක් තියෙනවා. කවුරුත් දැනගන්න ඕනේ ඒකට යන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රමය මේකයි කියලා. නේද? තෝරා ගැනීම විශේෂයෙන් public sector වලට තෝරා ගැනීමේ ක්‍රමය පැහැදිලි වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒවට සුසුකම් තියෙනවා, criteria තියෙනවා, promotion වලට criteria තියෙනවා. වැඩ කරනකොට criteria තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Evaluate criteria තියෙන්න. එතකොටනේ transparency. It's not a bottleneck. You see, it's as a bottleneck where if you want to do some inefficiency, corrupted work. පොඩි දූෂණයක් වංචාවක් කරන්නාම බියුරොක්‍රසි එක දකින්න අවුලක් විදියට. ඔබට මතක ඇති ප්‍රසන්න රණතුංග එක කවුන්ටන්ට් මහත්තයෙකුට ෆෝන් එකෙන් තර්ජනය කරන ওই ෆයිල් එක නස්සම් කරන්න කියලා. Rules and according to rules and regulation he can't sign. But the minister is making threat, you have to sign, otherwise you can't work with me, go home. That's not the bureaucracy. එනිසා මේ efficient market එකේ magic එක තමයි ඒ market neoliberal එක ක්‍රමයක් තමයි neoliberalism encourage කරන එක. market එක කියන්නේ මල මිනිහ ඔක්කොම market කරනවා. ඒක market කරන ගමන් මනුෂ්‍යත්වයට නෑ, economic matters are coming first. market කරන ගමන් අර දැනට තියෙන හොඳ ක්‍රමය bureaucracy democracy වටනවා. ඒතර මේ සමාජයේ මොකද you know, it's not civilized. You see what I'm telling? So that is, you have to be careful. That is a global trend, global agenda, promoting this neoliberalism and demoting this democracy and the bureaucracy. In some private sector efficient, public sector inefficient. I think both sectors are inefficient. නැත්නම් laugh gas තියෙන්න එපා අපට. නේද? IOC වලට පුළුවන් වෙන්න එපා. අපි මේ තෙල් මිල අඩුවෙන් දෙන්න. කොහොම? No such thing. Okay? Right. The role of accounting research in supporting existing social structures. So එකක් තමයි mainstream research. But මතක ඇති we talk about positive accounting theory. That is really you are just looking at the hypothesis and rise of that consistent with political views at the time by the widespread ultra conservative movements toward the deregulation that was taking place in the society at that time. Positive accounting, rise of economic consequences. Research seemed to have been motivated by desire of large companies to counter attempt to change reporting system and level of disclosures. So you increase, you study that usage of accounting information, the perception of accounting information. That's a positive accounting research. So you may find out that, okay, according to my research, these informations need to be disclosed in addition. So thereby you improve the information system, you make additional disclosures. Results of these studies also supported the company's call for reduction in regulation. When you disclose more, less regulations. The role of account research in supporting existing structure, research efforts into inflation accounting were. So those days, inflation accounting system were introduced. Just because of inflation, the profit figure was reduced. Thereby, people didn't ask more salaries. Higher wages, not by rate of wealth from owners to higher wages, not by this thing. The rise economic consequences, research seemed to have been motivated by desire of large companies. I did it. This one, research into this alleviate shifts in real wealth from owners to higher wages, not by rate of inflation. Increase in regulations on accounting and corporate governance aftermath. Large-scale corporate collapses such as Enron and WorldCom is only a move to serve the need of large companies rather than protecting investors, and it was aimed at sustaining investor trust in capital markets upon which large companies rely on. So when this Enron and WorldCom is collapsed, what happened is we strengthen the account, we develop new accounting standards, we develop more accounting disclosures. So that is one. So we believe in the capital markets, investor trust in the capital market upon large companies rely on. The role of accounting practice in supporting existing social structure. Critical theory sees conceptual frameworks as legitimizing the accounting profession and for financial reports, produced reports, and entities. Critical theories see the conceptual framework as legitimizing accounting profession. Critical theories, so-called, we discussed the conceptual framework for preparation and presentation of financial statement. We discussed objective of financial statements, qualitative characteristics, measurements, recognition, disclosure, blah, blah, blah. So critical researchers see it as legitimizing the accounting profession, financial reports produced by the entity. ඒක අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කාරණයක් කියන කාරණය පොඩ්ඩක් සංනිවේදනය කරලා සමාජගත කරනවා මේක ඕනම කියන. නේ? What so assume that accounting profession, no professional accountants in Sri Lanka. What happened? No CA Sri Lanka. I don't think. Nothing happened. Same thing, same results. Accountants seen as imposing their own views about which performance characteristics are important, not important. Accountants seen as imposing their own views about which performance characteristics are important, not important. Accountant ලා තමයි කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේවා තමයි වැදගත් performance indicator මේවා තමයි අවදගත්තේ. They decide. Not by the people. So thereby it's a kind of authoritarian practice. Not the users. Users are not having the freedom. In communicating reality, accountants simultaneously construct reality. Accountants construct reality. නැති දේ හදලා පෙන්නනවා. බොරුව හරි කරලා පෙන්නනවා. Like our media. Construct the reality. Reality is mind of the people. නේ? ඔබට මතක ඇති උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් මම ගත්තොත් non accounting example එකක්. ඔබට මතක ඇති සාපි කේස් එක. වඳ කොත්තු වඳ ඇඳුම් ජාතිවාදයේ කොයිතරම් මනසට කාවැද්දුවද? ඒතර අපේ මනසෙන් මොකක්ද අපි හිතුවේ? That was planted in our mind. So when we see a Muslim man, what is our perception? What is our meaning? Assign. How we assign the meaning? We have to against. Same person, suppose a tourist guy, a person from a different country coming to Sri Lanka, say tourist, met a Muslim guy. What is her perception? What is his perception? Totally different. So thereby what we are going to do is that, people construct reality. Likewise, accountants simultaneously construct the reality by producing different kind of reports, maybe financial statements, maybe balance scorecard, maybe budgets, different things. Construct reality. ඔබට මතක ඇති කබ්‍රාල් කියන money print කරාට inflation වෙන්නේ නැති. It's a big statement to the media. All media publish and people will talk. And no one is challenging because of his power. We make certain statement against that, but we don't have that much of power. But powerful people, powerful economics, not making any statement against that. Yes. You see, එතකොට අපි කියන මත පම්ප කරනවායි කියලා. මේ මත පම්ප කරනවායි කියන එක තමයි construct reality කියන්නේ. You have to be careful. නේ? ඉතින් මත පම්ප කරාම මේ කාලේ ඒවට විරුද්ධව කතා කරාම අරුක් ගන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් මේ 2019 කාලේ අපි කිව්වා නම් මේ මුස්ලිම් අය එහෙම නෙවෙයි මේ මුස්ලිම් අය දේශප්‍රේමී මෙහෙම කියන්න එපයි කියලා. What happened to us? මුටි ගන්න. Okay. The summary I don't read the summary. So that is critical perspective of accounting. We look at the accounting from different angle, not in a traditional way. We challenge the traditional way of looking at. කවුරු හරි කියනවා නම් මූල්‍ය ප්‍රකාශන පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ තීරණ ගැනීමට කියලා, you may say no, it's not the case. I do want to study that. How financial statement being used by the users. Who are the users really? Financial statement. As per the standard, they say lenders and investors. Who are the investors really? Who are the investors? Do all investors will get this have the access to this financial statement? What they are doing with this information? Is it for legitimacy? Announce කරන අපි මෙන්න මේ විදියට හොඳම annual report එකයි best annual reports award එකේදී අපිට තමයි හොඳම annual reports award එක හම්බුනේ කියලා කයිවාරු ගන්න එකට තමයි legitimize. Just to forget about the questions, issues, and you maintain the structure. Same thing. Next year also same thing. Boruem boru. Boruem boru. I think critical perspective of accounting, that chapter is over. Any issue, any question, if you have, I can answer. And I have uploaded two material for you to read. So I hope that you will read those two material. It talks about the background for critical perspective of account research, not what I discussed. The background, the theory, the philosophy behind this critical perspective accounting is being given by these two articles. It takes time, but just try to read it and discuss with your colleagues. Any question? If you don't have any question, what I will do is I will stop the session. Thank you very much for participating. Of course, I think we all have the lights, electricity now. Anyway, I think this is the last lecture. I don't know whether you have any presentation. Thank you very much for participating with this lecture. We will see. All the best for the exam. I don't know the evaluation. Anyway, just follow the sessions, all sessions, and read. I know that you have no time to read what to do. Anyway, thank you.